Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Gear12 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II vehicle tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Cromwell Mk.V. The Cromwell tank, officially Tank Cruiser Mark 8 Cromwell, or known by the official ordnance designation of A27M, was one of the series of cruiser tanks fielded by Britain in the Second World War. Named after the English Civil War era military leader Oliver Cromwell, the Cromwell was the first tank to be put in service by British to combine high speed from a powerful, reliable engine and reasonable armor. The intended dual-purpose high-velocity gun could not be fitted in the turret, so a medium-velocity dual-purpose gun was fitted instead. Further development of the Cromwell combined into a high-velocity gun led to the Comet tank. The Cromwell was initially applied to 3 vehicles during development, the last 2 being the Cromwell and the Centaur. The Centaur and Cromwell were exactly the same from the outside. The only difference being the engine. The Cromwell had a bit more of a powerful engine, so therefore it went out on the competing over the other competing design of Centaur, and Centaurs were actually converted over to Cromwells by just simply changing the engine. The Cromwell first saw action in the Battle of Normandy in June 1944, and the tank equipped the Armored Reconnaissance Regiments of the Royal Armoured Corps in the 7th Armored Division, 11th Armored Division, and the Guards Armored Division. While the Armored Regiments of the latter 2 divisions were equipped with M4 Shermans, the Armored Regiments of the 7th Armored Division were equipped with Cromwells. The Centaurs were not used in combat except those fitted with a 95mm howitzer, which were used in support of Royal Marines in the amphibious invasion of Normandy. So yeah, pretty cool stuff here. The Cromwell, again, one of the most, I think, recognizable tanks from the British, had a very kind of square hull design and was one of their, I would say, pretty much mid-war pinnacle, peak, medium tanks. They call them cruiser tanks, but realistically they're kind of a medium tank. Overall, really cool design, and I guess a really iconic British vehicle that would fit perfectly into any of your World War II scenarios, as after the Battle of Normandy, it saw service up to the end of the war. So definitely a good tank to throw into your worlds, especially if you're building some allied type of battles or whatever. But with that, we'll go ahead and dive in here, take a look at the actual Cromwell itself. So this version here is the Mk.V. The only difference that's going to be between this and the previous versions, which this is the combination of all the other variants. This is like the peak mechanical model in terms of the engine, the powertrain, just everything is all that is fully upgraded to what it would have been at the end of the war. The main difference here is going to be that it is armed with a 75mm gun. So it has all those combined upgrades and is the pinnacle upgrade, and then it has a 75mm gun obviously added on to it. So pretty cool stuff there, and 75mm gun giving it way more pack a punch compared to its 57mm gun it came standard with. So we have the 75mm gun there, so you can see it's a little bit longer, thicker of a gun. The turret itself, again, just a really kind of squared off turret. The antennas, we have the side detail in here with the road wheels and the little fender flares over the fronts and back of the track. And we have the kind of over the engine bay section here, really nothing too crazy. A little bit of supply crates on the sides like that, and a little bit of like a canvas or tarp material there just for a little bit of extra detail on the build. It's overall really straightforward, should be a simple build to add to your worlds, and a really nice one, again, if you're building some scenes with the British, as this would be one of their main medium or tanks that they would be fielding during their the later stages of the war. With that though, let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so go ahead and move into our first layer here. We will be going ahead and starting off with layer 1. For layer 1 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down another brick upside down stair like this, and then a polished black stone stair behind it, followed by a second stair directly behind it, so you have these 2 back to back. We're going to go ahead and place down a black shulker box sideways like that going back, 2 more polished black stone stairs back to back, and there's a shulker box on its side, and again 2 polished black stone stairs back to back like that. We're going to go then place down another brick upside down stair here on the very back, and then taking our dark prismarine top slabs, we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dark prismarine top slabs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just kind of filling that in there for the base there of the tank. We're going to place down another brick upside down stair on this side and just replicate the same design we set up for our road wheels on the other side, just over here to this side. So again, going to do this a little bit quicker, and of course our upside down stair. Now, when it comes to actually detailing up these road wheels on the shulker boxes, we're going to place down item frames and then green stained glass paints in the item frames, as well as a dark oak wood button on the side of those shulker boxes if you're on Java. You can also substitute the shulker boxes out for black concrete if you want. The shulker boxes do disappear at a distance, so if that's a problem for you, you can also substitute those out. But we're going to do the same thing over here on this side as well, and again, our dark oak wood buttons if you're on Java. Now, the next kind of step here for this layer is to go ahead and go to the back. We're going to place down an item frame coming off these two slabs, and in those item frames, we're going to place down tripwire hooks, and we're going to rotate them so that they point downwards, and we're also going to place down a zombie head coming off this middle slab like that. On the front side here, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of dark oak wood trapdoors across the front there between those stairs to go ahead and fill in a row of 3. So these banners we're going to be going ahead and using, you're going to need 2 green banners and 4 black dye. I'm not going to show you guys how to make it in a loom because it's pretty straightforward, but we're going to basically take our 2 green banners, we're going to go ahead and put them in our loom with our black dye. We're going to split the banners in half with the black on the left side of one banner and the black on the right side of the other. So it's going to split it in half vertically on the 2 different sides for the 2 different banners. Then for both banners, we're going to go ahead and take our black dye and just do a line that goes horizontally through the center of the banner, just like that. And it's going to create that design there. This design is going to go on the side of your polished black stone stairs with the green portion facing toward each other. Again, really straightforward stuff. And that will basically just go ahead and point toward each other to go ahead and finish it off. So again, it helps kind of create the look there for the road wheels. Looks real nice, and that's all you need to do for that. Anyways, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 1. With that, let's move on to layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we'll be moving on to layer number 2. For layer 2 to start with, we're going to place down a row of 3 of dark prismarine slabs across the space, an item frame to both sides, and snowballs in those item frames. We're also going to place down a green terracotta block to both sides as well, with a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off that green terracotta block going forward. We're also going to place down a dark oak wood sign on the side there of those green terracotta blocks, and then we're going to go back 2 narrow brick slabs back from those green terracotta blocks as well, with a dark oak wood sign on the sides here of these slabs like that. We then want to take our daylight detectors. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 daylight detectors back, and make sure you turn those to the night mode. And same thing is going to happen here as well. Again, turn those to the night mode. We're going to place down 2 more narrow brick stairs or narrow brick slabs back with a dark oak wood sign to both sides here. And then we're going to take our green terracotta, and we're going to place down a row of 5 of green terracotta going all the way across the space here, again with a dark oak wood side to both ends. We can then take our green terracotta and we can just fill in the space between those dark prismarine slabs in the front there and our tracks, and just bring this all the way back to our row of 5 to connect that together and fill that whole space in. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark prismarine top slab to both sides and a zombie head coming off that top slab going back. On the sides of the slabs, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign to the outsides. And in this middle space here, we're going to place down a row of 3 of green stained glass panes. Once you have that all done right there, that's going to wrap up everything there is there for layer 2. Here is a top-down view of what that should look like so far completed. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 3. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of these 2 green terracotta blocks here. And behind those, we're going to place down a daylight detector. Do make sure you close these trapdoors if they do decide to open up. We're going to go ahead and then place down a dark prismarine slab to both sides, followed by a green terracotta block again on the sides there on the inside of those slabs. And then we're going to place down a green shulker box on its side like this facing forward. Coming off that shulker box, we're going to place down a chain like this for our hole mounted machine gun. And then an item frame, black concrete, and a dark oak wood sign across that if you're on Java for the driver's viewport. Now after that's done, we're going to go ahead and go back with another row of 3 of green terracotta, and then a dark prismarine slab to both sides here. Back from those slabs, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 end portal frames. On the sides of these end portal frames, we're going to place down dark oak wood signs, and this will be done here to both sides. We're going to go then take our green terracotta and just place down 2 rows of 3 of green terracotta between those end portal frames. We're going to place down a second row of 3, then a third row, and then a fourth row. Actually, sorry, my bad. It's going to be 2 more rows of 3. This next row, we're going to go ahead and put a block on both sides, and then a green shulker box here in the center. We're going to do the same thing again, the green shulker box in the center, and a green terracotta block to both sides, and then just a row of 3 of green stained glass panes across the back here. Then taking our dark prismarine slabs, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 slabs along the side here. Same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And a green carpet on top of the slab here to both sides. after that is all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for that. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. One thing that is optional is you could throw on some birchwood logs. So on the left side here, I'll break these 2 slabs and just place down some birchwood logs sideways and just wrap some sprucewood buttons around it for like a little canvas or some kind of extra gear mounted onto the Cromwell. And you can obviously add some gear on the sides here over the fenders, as it was very common, but I'm going to leave that up to you guys to expand upon and do for yourselves. But yeah, that right there is what it should look like from the top-down view once complete. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a row of 3 of green terracotta. And then coming off the center green terracotta block, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 dark prismarine top slabs. And then we're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab on the very end here. We're going to go ahead and then take our green terracotta, and we're going to build 1 and 2 more rows of 3. So you have a total of 3 rows of 3 to square off the turret. We're going to place down a dark oak wood button on both sides of this first green terracotta blocks, as well as a dark oak wood button on top of these blocks here. And if you're on Java, we can also throw an item frame on top of the shulker blocks by crouching in there and then placing down a green terracotta block in it. Unfortunately, if you're not on Java, you will not be able to do that feature, so you can just go and disregard and move on from there if not. Then we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor to the sides of this middle row 3 of green terracotta, and then a dark oak wood button again to both sides of this section. We'll also go ahead and place down a row of 3 of green stained glass panes that go across the front there like that. Now once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then take our daylight detectors. We're going to place down a row of 3 of daylight detectors across, and then we're going to place down a redstone repeater to both sides here of the shulker boxes, and we're going to place down, we're going to go ahead and separate the notches from each other like so. And then we're just going to place down a row of 3 of item frames on top of these green stained glass panes, and in those item frames we're going to place down black beds sideways for the vents on the back here for the engine. I believe actually the exhaust is what they are. With that though, that is going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer. Pretty straightforward and simple stuff. Here again is a top-down view of what that should look like. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our last final layers of the build, which should be layers 5, 6, 7, and 8. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers. Moving into our last final layers, we have layers 5 through 8. For these layers to start with, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor here on top of this polished blackstone top slab, and then we're going to place down 3 green carpets back. We're going to go then place down a row of 3 of dark prismarine slabs, a row of 3 of end portal frames, and a second row of 3 of end portal frames after that. On the sides of these end portal frames, we're going to go ahead and just place down some dark oak wood signs to help blend it into the tank a little bit better. And then on the back here, we're just going to place down 3 zombie heads across, like so. After that is all done, on top of the turret here, we're going to go ahead and place down a green a iron bar that's going to go on top of this end portal frame here, and we're going to place down 2 more up, so you have a total of 3. On the other side here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence post, and we're going to place down 2 iron bars up that time, like that, for your radio antenna. Then on the other side here, this left side, we're actually going to go and delete this sign here. We're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate in its place and open it up toward the end portal frame. Cut off it, we're going to place down an item frame and a snowball in the item frame to go ahead and finish off the front there. So that is what it's going to look like, and that is going to complete our design here for the A27M Cromwell Mark V. Hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be a thing from a side of the build to link to my channel or this video if this does appear in social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to use the favorite projects you guys are working on. And that, thank you guys again all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett 2x4, and I will see you guys next time.